All right, so we're doing a live video today because we're so darn busy. We're not gonna have a video this week, and I want to share some things that are going on that could help people out there. So we're going to be talking about traveling off-grid and comfort, and we're kicking off season, I think it's season 3, I don't know what season we're at. But long story short, we're going to be taking off in about a week to begin mountain biking across the US. We're going to head up to Montana, a few other cool places, and we've been very busy back here essentially getting the RV ready for this trip. We've actually been stationary for a while, and so we're getting a lot of things back in gear, and so we're going to cover in this video. I want to share with you all a little bit about our organization. So I do video production. My wife Jenny's got a lot of good organization stuff for kid toys and whatnot. I've done a lot for gear organization for our gear we're taking. I'll also talk a little bit about how we're going to have power while we're boondocking and unplugged. And then I think in a future video, I probably won't have time today, but in a future video we can talk more about water, food, and picking out our destinations. So let me start jumping in here. I want to keep this video short and sweet so that anyone who watches this can get something out of it. I'll start off with the boring stuff first. I make these YouTube videos, and so for anyone out there that wants to do video work, here's my setup. I've got this is just a MacBook down here. Right, just a regular MacBook, but the big thing about the MacBook here is I have this cord going over here. This is a cord going to what's called an external graphics processor. So I'll get out of this boring stuff in just a minute, but for anybody who wants to do video stuff, this eGPU right here is actually a game changer for me making videos. It allows me to have a power source for the laptop, but also through that GPU I can do video editing faster. If you're a gamer, you can do video games a lot faster, but it also gives me an HDMI port out. And so just down here we have our big TV pops out over here, so I could actually use we have like a 49 or whatever inch TV, which could become either my main monitor or a second monitor for the computer. So that's really big to have essentially 2 monitors for editing videos or doing that kind of stuff. So that's a game changer for me. I've put up here a power strip, and this power strip I've got all my different, whether it's GoPro batteries or Sony or Olympus, all these different cameras, and all the different gear, they all have their own charges, and so I have a charging station here which will allow a quick, easy charge, right? Go out, shoot some video, come back, throw the battery in the charger, move on. I've got all of our hard drives here. One other great thing about the eGPU is you can plug in multiple hard drives. And so right now I'm actually backing up data. We're going to leave a hard drive behind as part of our data protection. But anyways, enough of the boring stuff with that. If anyone has any questions about stuff I cover, please leave it down below in the comments, and I will answer your questions. And if there's enough questions, we can do a video on some of these things. But anyways, I think that's the boring stuff. Not everyone wants to know about making YouTube videos or videos in general, so that's how I'm doing those. I want to share, Jenny has picked up a really cool option for organizing kid storage. So down here, Jenny just picked up this organizer for kid stuff. Here I can turn the screen around. Let's see. Here we go. So we got all the toys organized down through here, and keeps things simple. This is Hank. You're gonna see Hank in some future videos coming out here. Hank is actually, this is Tucker's stunt double. We named him Hank. He's kind of creepy. But from a distance he looks just like a little kid, so we've had some fun with Hank, and that will be coming out in some of our Mexico videos coming out soon. But anyways, with the toy storage, we have a little rack there Jenny bought, but we also wanted to share, this is definitely Jenny's tip to share, but she's not here, so what she's done is down below in the RV we have a few different lockers, or actually storage totes in the lockers, and so roughly once a week she'll get the new toys out, or one of those bins of new toys, put them in here, take the toys that our son Tucker currently has and put them in the tote. So essentially every 3 or 4 weeks, Tucker, you know, every week Tucker has new toys, and we rotate the toys through on about a 3 or 4 week cycle. So you know, it's about a month before he sees these same toys again, which makes them feel like brand new toys. Works very well because in an RV you can't have tons of toys, and it's also nice to have less stuff. So that keeps him happy, keeps us happy, and keeps things organized. What else we're going to cover? Let's see here. Gear organization. So I do want to share about, we have some, so this is a Class A diesel RV, which actually has a lot of locker space down below. I'm not going to go through all the lockers, but I will share some of the ways we organize stuff. And so essentially the lockers, some of them are hard to get to. So for this coming up RV trip, we're going, as I mentioned, we're going to be mountain biking up to Montana, and we'll be doing a lot of mountain biking, stand-up paddleboarding. We're not going to be doing any surfing, essentially. We're probably not going to be doing any spearfishing. So those types of things are down below in the lockers, and I'll take you out to the truck in a minute to share what I've done to make the truck work really well for those things. We're also going to come back and talk about our power, and that'll wrap this video up. But so let's go outside real quick. Hopefully it's not too noisy, but I'll show you how we organize our gear. We do a lot of fun, kind of like active outdoor stuff, and so we've got, unfortunately because of that, a lot of our toys take up a lot of space. So we have these lockers here. And everything is about having totes and organization. So some of the big stuff for our son Tucker, like bike stuff, whatever, goes in here. Down in here we've got our surfing gear, stuff for washing the RV, etc. But as I mentioned, we're not using those things. We're going to be mountain biking and traveling up to the mountains. So I'll bring you over to the truck first. So here's our pickup truck. Just a Dodge pickup truck. Some roof racks on top. A little bit of wind. Hopefully you can hear me. I want to share. This is what one of the things I'm most proud about is in this truck. We have so much stuff here in the back. Let me see. There we go. So I just actually recently installed these racks. We'll get to that next, but first I want to share here in the base of the truck we've got our 2 mountain bikes. And if you have nice mountain bikes, you don't want to leave them out in the elements, because just, you know, being in the elements are going to get, eventually they'll get rusty and nasty and destroyed. So we have very nice bikes, and so these are full suspension mountain bikes, and so we actually have them here, and I'll show you. Let me turn the screen around again. So right down here, these are called fork mounts, and these fork mounts are how we mount the bikes to the truck. So anyhow, we got the bikes there, the extra tires are back there, and by having those fork mounts, the bikes are secure, they're locked in here. I also have a bike lock, which we can actually lock the bikes up in the back of the truck. Oftentimes I'll lock the bikes and the toolbox to one of the bed mounts, but nonetheless the bikes are inside, so you're not going to get, you know, destroyed by the elements. I also have a couple totes here. So for our mountain bike trip, as I mentioned, we got our bike gear, so we got bikes there. I also have gear for kite surfing if we end up in any good lakes or places to go kite surf. We also have stand-up paddleboard paddles and boards up here. Now I'm gonna turn the screen around one more time. Boop. And so this is a very, very easy fix. I got a couple pieces of conduit pipe from my dad, and he helped me kind of pick them out, and we just put a bend up here. So one screw through there, and this goes through here. And so I've got this is a spearfishing gun. We've got plenty of fishing poles. We've got these here are trekking poles. This is a twin tip kite board. This is like a surfing style kite board. This is for hauling the kayak if you're going to go long distance. And then these guys, we've got all of our kite surfing gear. So we got a ton of stuff. We also have life jackets, dry bags. We've got one of those little waterproof coolers. So all of our gear's in there. Flip this back around. And so I want to keep this video short, but if you have any questions, again, put them in the comments. But we have like everything we need for kite surfing, mountain biking, fishing, hiking, kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding. Everything we need is in the truck here, and what's great is I can close this window here, tailgate up, and right here I've got a lock here, and this one and this one both lock. So right there, boom, I've just locked up the back of the truck, and now all of our gear is easy to get to, but yet it's locked and secure and safe. I'll show you one last thing up here on top of the truck. I've got these racks up here, right here. These are called the Yakima Sup Dog, S-U-P-D-A-W-G, and these racks are super easy. They're not locked. Again, I can lock it, so we could lock this and go into the city and not worry, but it's super easy. See how easy it is to undo. Boom, boom, like that, and now the paddleboard can come up. And then just one-handed, put it back in there, pull it down, and now it's locked in there. So these are game changers. They also will hold a surfboard. We have our stand-up paddleboard and a 13-foot ocean kayak prowler. So you see it works pretty well. That's the whole thing right there. Turn this around again. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, it all works very well, and it keeps things organized. So like my biggest pet peeve, I don't know about you guys, but my biggest pet peeve is as we're traveling, especially in an RV, you typically find yourself, to get to one thing, you have to move 3 or 4 or 5 things to get to it. And that's incredibly annoying. So we know you have these systems in place, so like if you want to go kayaking, you pop the kayak off, grab the kayak paddle and you life jacket and you go. Everything's super easy, which will help us just to have a lot more fun this trip. And I think that covers it with our gear. And the last thing I want to share is how we're going to have power. So okay, here's the deal. So for this season, we're going to be mountain biking, which means we'll be spending a lot of time out these mountain bike trails in a lot of off-grid spots, which is pretty cool in my opinion. It's great with the COVID stuff, so we can self-isolate. We'll be out in the woods, but there typically aren't very many places that have RV parks or hookups for RVs. So we're going to be off-grid at these mountain bike trails, and that means that having a essentially a power system is going to help us out just being comfortable. So I'll share last thing here with you guys. I want to share is our power system. We have solar and lithium, we've got an inverter, and we also have a generator on board. So I'll cover all these things and just briefly share how they work. You can find more details, plenty of videos on YouTube about how all this stuff works, but this is our setup and it works very well, and I'll explain why. So we'll start off, since we're outside. I already popped open, this is our hatch for our battery bank. So a lot of these motorhomes, you'll have what's called your chassis batteries, which go to like the frame of the RV. This is what starts the engine. This is what goes to the headlights. The chassis batteries cover essentially the truck part of the RV. And then your house batteries, we actually have lithium batteries from Battleborn down here. And so we've got these 100 amp hour batteries from Battleborn. This is lithium power, which is great because all of that power is usable power, which is a huge game changer when you're out off-grid for extended periods of time. This is 400 amp hours, or 4 100 amp hour batteries. We have 400 usable amp hours. Before this, we actually had some Trojan lead acid batteries, and with lead acid batteries, they work great, but you don't want to discharge them too much. So typically you can use half the capacity. So these have the same footprint, but we actually have essentially twice the power because we can use all of it without harming the battery. That covers that. So the way this works, before the power comes in, so let's say we're unplugged, we're off grid, up on the roof, so let's see if you can see here, we've got solar panels up there. You can kind of see right there, that's one of our, we have a 260 watt, we have 4 260 watt solar panels on the roof. And so those solar panels, I'll take you inside, they go to a charge controller. Let's go inside. So they go to a charge controller which controls how much they charge the batteries. So A, you don't overcharge the batteries, but B, so you also charge the batteries more efficiently. It's nice and cold in here. We're in Florida in July and it's hot. So let's come back here real quick. And of course now it's dark. Let me turn on some lights. Here we go. All right, so turn this around. Right here, which you can't really see, this is the charge controller taking the charge from the solar panels, and it's regulating the charge going to the batteries, those lithium battle-borne batteries you saw. So that charge controller is, I don't want to get too detailed in this video, it's not the purpose. It's an MPPT. Essentially, it's a very efficient way to maximize all solar power and get as much as you can into your batteries. Then the batteries store that power, and with an inverter, which we have, it's a Victron Multiflex. That's also, we got that one from Battle-Born. What's cool, if you get it from Battle-Born, they actually will, there's some programming you have to put in there for lithium batteries. All right. And long story short, the inverter then takes that power and inverts it to use it in the coach. So we could be off-grid and running power and be very comfortable. Okay, all right, so anyways, that is the walkthrough, and that's the things we have in place to make our travels easy and also to make it comfortable as you travel. Please ask all the questions you want, and if there's anything that people want covered in more detail, I'm happy to share. But yeah, with those things we have, we're super excited to take off on this next trip and be very comfortable wherever we go, which is pretty cool. And it's, as I mentioned, we're in Florida, it's hot, we're excited to get the heck out of here, get north and find some cool weather. Stay tuned, we have some pretty cool stuff coming out. I've got a really cool series about traveling through Mexico coming out, and we're actually, as I mentioned, we're taking off up to Montana. We'll be documenting that as well. So thank you very much for joining me. I'm Jesse, you're watching Outside is Calling, and we'll see you in the next video.